Okay, we're back. No, we're still getting issues. It's got to be an internet problem. I don't know. Is it annoying to watch? Of course it is. It's me. No, so I don't know if it's any better. When I was starting up, I was getting more dropped frames. It's sitting pretty still now. I've got green connection. Just keep me in the know if it really starts to go screwy again. Yeah, for now it's staying green. Yeah, I'm glad I went with this color instead. Yeah, that seems to have done it. I haven't dropped any more frames. Alright. I'm getting tired of kickbots. Yeah, and I've got green bars and only drop frames a little bit at the beginning. Everything seems to have stabilized. So, woohoo! For a second there, it didn't want to restart, and I'm like, oh crap, what did I do? Started giving me a bunch of stuff about stream keys being wrong. I'm like, I didn't do anything except turn it off and back on again. Ask Aries. I have this way with computers that they don't like working for me. And I know I've talked about it before, and he's probably getting tired of hearing it. It's because of his teachings that I was able to do what I did in Bulgaria and make sure everything got sent back with no issues. So. He made sure I knew how to do my shit right. And he wasn't a dick about it either. Well, I didn't electrically shut everything down. I just turned off the program and turned it back on again. I might have to research into what Vallejo uses as a surfactant in their washes. Because I might have to start trying to make a couple of my own. Because I like how this is making it a bit dustier. I may have to slightly go back with the original color and kind of touch things up with a little bit of scrubbing. But I like what it's doing. Again, I'm experimenting. I don't have a set formula for this. I know about the Flory washes. I don't like the idea of the clay base. But that's, again, that's me. Because one issue that I've seen people run into with the Flory stuff is they'll think it's dry. And they'll go to put their dull coat over it, even days later. And we're talking about living in the, you know, nice arid area I live. And when they go to do it, the clay in the wash is somehow held onto a little bit of moisture, so when they do their dull coat, it silvers the dull coat. Like, it'll actually put a whitish line where the water, no, we wouldn't be getting a new kind, just more of a DIY. If you've got acrylic paints and you're out of something, or you got something that's not working, it would just be an alternative. Like right here, I'm just using some ancient Floquil polyester um, acrylic paint. And I'm just kind of using it to dust up the model a little bit more. I think I said even at the beginning of the build I'd probably do that, because this is too close to the sand color in its original tone. And this is something I've known to do since way back in the day. I just haven't had a need to do it. Because I used oil washes on it to get the initial darkened areas. Like the black shadow area washes. And I honestly didn't like how they came out. it didn't sit well with me. And usually oil washes I'm just fine with. So I'm experimenting with things, trying to find my own little way of doing it, you know? I'm just using the dirty water aspect of it now to see what I can do on the front. Overpriced. Because I believe they got their start with MIG. And honestly, I'm kind of sick of the companies preying on the German demographic of model building. And if I'm right, I'm going to double check before I make this statement. Schwerabteilung 502. No, not Shred of Taiwan. Jesus, Google can't even understand it. Maybe I didn't pronounce it right. But yeah, it's cool they named it after the first unit to get Tigers in World War II. But just the whole German-centric thing wore out. That wore out on me back in the 90s, to be honest. I just use standard Winsor Newton or Winton oil paints. You go to any decent store that sells artist oils, there you go. The thing is, they profess that they're selling stuff that is proprietarily formulated to match with the paints and tones and colors. that can save some people, you know, a lot of time. At the same time, it's nothing special. You could do the same thing. How much does one bottle of 502 oil color cost? Let me do some cost analysis here. Because either way, you're going to have to spend about $10 for a jug of odorless mineral spirits. This is what I use on my oils, right? So you don't have to buy the specially formulated 502 one or whoever, right? So yeah, let's go to Google. I know we're getting sidetracked. I want to let things dry for a minute. Okay, so they're sold through AK Interactive now. No thanks. So their box of the small tubes of oil paint under their brand name through AK is 207 euros. And from what I'm seeing, a lot of the colors are redundant and almost unnecessary for what you would do with them. If you're buying 52 oil paints, you can get better quality, more affordability. So Winsor Newton, you can get a starter pack of how many paints? Looks like 6 paints for $8. And they are like the top of the line. So yeah. $354, almost $400 probably after tax and shipping for the 502 paints. When any decent store like Hobby Lobby, Michaels, any of those places, art stores, you're spending half that at most for roughly the same tones. Yeah, if I'm going oils, I'm going oils, you know. I'm not going the hybrid technology stuff like that, because there's always an issue. Over time, you can learn to use it right, but there's almost always an issue. But for what they're charging, you can get a set of your own. And another thing about the reduced cost is you're not afraid to experiment. Right? Like, I've seen people, I've bought this, it is used just for this. No. No. Experiment, you know, do all that kind of stuff. And this isn't just me saying that because, ooh, hate AK. No, it's me saying that because I've been using these products since before AK existed. The company, not the assault rifle. I'm not that old. But this is just me speaking from long experience and not being a brand whore. And I've said it before, you guys have heard me say it, if I use something, it's because it's actually worked for me. I don't use it because it's the popular thing to use and I had to fight myself tooth and nail to learn how to use it. It's because it's easy, it's slightly cheaper, and in some cases, possibly quicker. And there's some foul balls in there. I'll actually show you a failure on my part, right? Because I got a little overambitious and I didn't think to read ahead and look in on it. And I may still have a use for it because there's nothing wrong with the product. It just didn't do what I thought it would do in the way I thought it would do it. Right? So you guys have seen me slapping this shit all over my models. Pretty cut and dry, plain Jane. So you see this and you think, ooh, you know, they're wash effects for yellow vehicles. And you think that's like a burnt umber color or something like that would look great. Until you get it. I tried putting this on my 16th scale Stug 4 over the dark yellow, thinking it would tone it down a little bit and make it look a little dirtier. It stained it brighter. Now, what this could be used on, and I'm gonna check because I've got something I can use it on, and this may actually bump that model up in the listing. I have the old AMT Caterpillar tongue twist Caterpillar Bulldozer. And that's kind of where the German-centric marketing kind of tripped me up, because a lot of the stuff for yellow vehicles, you're thinking the German yellow sand color that they used in Europe. You're not thinking, oh, this is for Caterpillar, for Kubota and things like that. This over standard yellow would probably look just right as a wash. But over a dark yellow military vehicle, it actually brightens it in the wrong direction. But that, combined with this is streaking grime. Doesn't work exactly the same way as the AK stuff, but it's the same kind of oily, greasy, drippy, runny feeling stuff. But it's just, I've got to learn how to use it. Intuitively, they work great. They rinse with water, and you can use water as your medium in sloshing them around and learning how they work. I just have to find a way they work within my habits. So with those, the fault's on me for not researching it more. Now, where was I? What was I doing? But yeah, if you want to look into like oils and things like that, I don't know what they did different to get so many people to go after them, but the Abteiling paints don't offer me anything that I don't already get from the set of oil paints that I've got sitting here that's almost 20 years old. At the same time, you don't have to take my word for it. Please do your own research. If there's a quality in those brands or in those products that you are looking for, by all means, go for it. I'm just a guy that builds models. I don't think I'm any kind of authoritative figure on the hobby. Others would argue that point, but I don't think that. Okay, we're going to go a little heavier back here because this is where the dust swirls and catches in everything. The only thing I don't like about this method that I'm using is this stuff dries a little quicker and leaves itself a bit more stagnant. So like I said, I might go back and scrub some areas a little more. And I've still got to put the white cross and the protective member on the convoy light there. And I still feel to this day, and I said it back when the stuff first came out, being so World War II German-centric, the marketing behind all these products feels extremely predatory. And I really don't like it. Come on, autofocus, be nice. Okay, now that's starting to work. You can see I thinned this way down, but you can see how, like the other wash, the Vallejo one, it's starting to collect around the bolts and rivet heads. But you have to go really, really thin on it. But a lot of the dust that at least I ran into when I was in Qatar, it was literally like talcum powder. Like, it had been run over so many times by so many vehicles in some areas, it felt like baby powder. And it was just as nasty to breathe in. And it would collect on vehicles just like this. Like, it was so fine, it would stick into the surface grain of the flat paint. And it would collect in the corners of everything. I wish I kept my old Tamiya Leopard 2 that I took there with me, because years after I brought it back, I tried washing the running gear multiple times. I couldn't get it all out of the paint. It was that ingrained into the paint. And that's why on some pictures of tanks that you see down there, especially newer vehicles like freshly painted Abrams that were sent in theater in their 3-color camouflage, you'll see what looks like tan squiggles between the black and the brown and the green. That's not where they went back and painted tan on. That's where the overspray. So like when you spray this edge, the overspray between the two paints kind of leaves a slightly rougher range. That's where that really fine dust has stuck into that grit in the paint, and now it has changed the color of the paint to look like a tan streak. And I've seen people try and replicate it by airbrushing, and it never looks right because in order to do it, I wish I had a sacrificial model that I could show you on. In order to make it look right, okay? You know what? Fuck it, we'll do it on this. You'd almost have to take a thinned out mix of this. Not so it's like the wash, but so it's just watery enough, right? Empty the brush, get a load on. And then you'd want to do this and paint it along here so that as it dries it becomes thicker and thicker, almost like a glaze. So I'm not going to leave that there to do that, but that was just to give an example of how you'd really do it if you wanted it to look right. Spread that out over the side of the model so it looks more like just dust. Hey, Brush Guy, how you doing? You're not wrong, Alex. On the Challenger 2, with the Dorchester armor kit, when it got downrange, they noticed that the tracks were kicking up so much of that fine ground dust, it was getting stuck in the air filters. Like you were saying. You know what the fix was? That specific armor package didn't have that canvas strip along the bottom edge of the skirt. So they cut canvas and they put it along there between the skirt and the track, just enough room so the track could move. And that knocked down the dust that got kicked up enough to reduce that problem. It kept the dust down enough that it didn't swirl up next to the tank and get sucked into the intakes. And they also moved the exhaust further back onto the rear of the vehicle by having those extensions on it. Where normally it just vented out the side right there above the, I want to say, 5th road wheel back on each side. But I could be wrong. But the dust storms over there were no joke. There was times I would get off work and be heading back to get some sleep. And I'd look up and you would see a wall in the sky moving through. I only remember it happening twice while I was there, but it could have happened while I was asleep too. There's a couple nights I think I woke up to go to work and the sky was more dusty than I remember, but the actual event had already passed. I like what this is doing. We're gonna spread more of it. I might be overdoing it. I might be uglifying the model, but this is what they look like. This is how dirty they got. And it would definitely sit on top of the fenders and on top of the hull a lot more. I can take a picture of my car right now after the slight rainstorm we got, and just the dust that gets kicked up from the Salt Lake here settles on your car, and yeah, like it quite literally rains mud here. You know what? I think that's enough. I think that's enough. Maybe a little on the hatches just to dirtyify them. Just to blend them in. There. But we are going to take a break. I think the last stream before I had to do the reset was about an hour anyway. So I'm going to put it on pause, and we'll be right back. Alright, we're back. And I have the old man of the house with me. Hi, Arnie. Yeah. You being a good boy? Okay. Alright. Well, yeah, didn't they have to figure out a new AC system for the Leopards? I know the Barracuda was supposed to help cut down on that, because instead of the sun baking the metal, it was reflected by the Velcro panels. I don't know what this is shaping up into, but it's shaping up into something. And there is a similar Barracuda system for this now, where it's a bunch of pre-cut panels that Velcro onto the outside of the hull, with the netting pre-installed on them. And another thing I'm trying to break from is, like, it's cool that it's building up in the cracks like it should, right? Is my camera not focusing? Is there something on it? Hold on. Like, I know it will focus, but... So, like... This is a desired effect, right? Where it builds up around all the details and everything. But you do want it to discolor the surface, too. Because the dirt's just not going to collect around the details once it dries. It's going to stay on the surface. Kind of like, again, when it rains on your car. You just get that film of dirt over the top of it, depending on how dirty the rain was. And that's another thing I'm trying to replicate here. I just don't want to overdo it to where the model starts looking chalky. Where the idea of the dust starts overpowering the actual colors and the camouflage of the vehicle and taking away from that. It's that balance where we know if we saw this thing roll in from a patrol in the field, the roof would be almost white with dust and dirt. And the sides would also be pretty white through here and down. But it's finding that kind of that visual balance in portraying the vehicle, keeping it interesting, but not killing it with overdoing it, which I'm on the edge of killing it. Let's see what I can do about crew now. Finish painting this backpack. Yeah, I don't know if this guy reads very well. He's not done at all yet, but I don't think his... Come on. I don't think his uniform is reading right to me. Come on. Really? Come on, focus. There. But that's the way camouflage works when it's on your gear. You can't make it out completely. Okay, and I need to do something because I ran out of the base color I had originally used. So I need to kind of bring these guys into the fold. I didn't finish painting the backpack either. That's not as hard to take care of. I just want to fill in the hole that I left. I'm going to dry brush these guys with the new color. Except for the original test. I can't do much with him without just stripping him down and repainting him totally. But tomorrow, if printing goes well tonight, we may have a neat little cyberpunk project to paint up. And I think only one person in here knows what it is. That would be you, yes. Don't give it away. He just loves to hug my face. Now I'm kind of going brighter on the uniform on purpose. The copies of this camo that I've seen, it is a brighter material. I had it too dark. But I'm trying to not fill in all the recesses and folds with it. I want to try something else on getting camouflage to read, but not be too dithering and too blending and obscuring. Because I think that's what's going on with the first figure. Is it's working, it's doing its intended purpose. So next month, you guys think I should follow along with everybody else and start doing Septembers? Alright, take it easy, Alex. And best of luck tomorrow. Hope you don't start feeling bad in the middle of it. And I hope whoever hears you actually hears you and doesn't just placate you. But I hope everybody's having a good weekend. We will be off tomorrow, so I'll be streaming then as well. So another thing I've been thinking about for my weekday streams, especially the ones I have after work, normally I'd be starting around 4 to 5 my time. Would it be better to wait till about 6 or 7? So that way, for those in the US, it would be between like 8 and 6, depending on where you are in the country. Because thanks to my back, I wasn't able to conduct my experiment that I wanted to do over the last 4 days. That's a bit better. I'm doing some pretty quick and ugly figures too. I'm not being my best on these, to be honest. Take it easy, Alex, and thank you again for the donations. And I am going to have a snack real quick. So I'm feeling munchy. Aries with the lippy. That's weird. Sorry. I just refreshed all the browsers. Okay, that should have worked. Alright. I know the alerts are working, because earlier with Alex... Sorry, I'm seeing some... I'm eating something we don't normally get here in the desert Southwest. It's mainly an East Coast thing. Entenmann's coffee cake. Oh. I've mentioned it before around here, and people are like, what the hell are you talking about? Is that music over already? Yeah. So we're actually going on about 2 hours now. Overall, I am happy with how those turned out, though. I could have been a bit neater, but at this point, I don't care. I'm trying my best to emulate Tropentarn, which is brown and green speckling over a light sandy base. 3 colors as opposed to 5 colors like Flecktarn. There you go. Did you have to change anything, or just was it working and it didn't work? Can you trigger the rest of the alerts just to make sure they work? Sorry guys, it might get a little annoying sounding. There's desk and chair as well. Another thing I'm having to do is make sure I don't overdo it on either color, because I think that's another thing I did on this guy. Is it should be 50% sand with a mix of the brown and green, overall 50%. Where I think I went too high with the brown and green on that. So it's all thirds, you know. Was that legit, or was that just you testing? Because usually the TTS doesn't kick in. Okay. At least on Twitch they work. I know they're not set up for kick. We'll have to get them set up for that and figure out something for when I'm able to do super chats and memberships on YouTube. Actually, where am I at on my viewer hours? I know I shouldn't be doing this midstream, but what the hell. Yeah, 620 in the past. There we go. Yeah, we can do that after the stream. Get on Discord and figure it out. If you are so willing. Alright, now the fun part. think I'm going to try and just do the camo colors between the ribs. I mean, I'll do them over the ribs for right now on the molly gear. And then when I go back and do the highlight of stuff, I'll just pop the ribs out in the sand color again. I don't know, tomorrow's going to be Monday. I know everybody says it's my channel, do what I want. But if I were to do something different, what would you guys want to see? Just like a low-key mecha girl? Paint a larger figure? I'm trying to do things that allow more viewer choice, but it's hard to do it across all 3 platforms. Ow. We might do a Fennek update short tonight too. I don't think the figures will be done, but they won't need to be in there. I am being really ugly with this camo. But if you look at the real stuff, it's ugly too. Like, it is one of the most random patterns I've ever seen. I'm trying to fill in too many empty spaces. I need to leave empty spaces. I need to look at the KSK gear in the region more too. because if I can go back and paint some of the ammo pouches, right? If I could make these more of a solid beige color or something to make the rig pop out because maybe they didn't have it in the pattern at the time, then I'd like to do that. If I can make the web gear and the plate carriers different somehow. But I haven't found a lot showing that. The equipment seemed to be pretty well established. Oh, there's one. I might go through and do this. Let me show you guys and tell me what you think. Who's that? Hi, Allie. Hi, Trouble. You're not going to get on the desk, are you? And she immediately got on the desk. I think doing this to the plate carriers and the web gear might just give them enough definition in this size to stand out and look visually interesting to the eye. So I might go and do that. I might make them that dark earth color instead. Or that wood color. Because the camouflage is just working too well in this size. And it's quite literally hiding everything. So, now if his plate carrier and his harness and all that was that same more woody brown color, that would help, I think. So yep, that's the tack we'll take. Hi, Princess. Let's do this. Get you. Nope, 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 no, 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 no. Careful. Careful. If you're gonna lay there, you're okay. Come on. Yeah. Pretty girl. Scritches for kitties. I kind of wish she got to meet Cammy the chinchilla. But Cammy passed away the year before I found her. Actually, the same winter Cammy died, I found you. Yeah, I did. I found you that following March in a snowbank. Yeah. How you doing, Jeffs? And if anyone's been sharing the stuff on YouTube, it has not gone unnoticed. I've noticed that there's been a lot more traffic recently, so if that was anyone here, thank you. Tell me you did not just fart. Oh my god, cat. Wow. And she is known for this in the past. When she was a kitten, she could clear a room. Yeah, this is common for her on streams. It's rare that it doesn't happen, especially in the latter half of the second hour, going into the third hour. So yeah, I'm not going to waste any more paint on the plate carrier or the web gear, now that we have this other plan in motion. So hey, I need to move you because you're sitting on a figure that I need. The Fennek is not a pillow. And I think you're sitting on their G36s too. Here, I gotta move you, girl. You're kind of in the way. Come here. Oh, come here. Oh, come here, Trouble. I got you. Yeah, there you are. Yeah. Hi. And if I didn't know better, Cat, I'd say you were partly responsible for some of my back issues, the way you have to sleep right up next to me at night. What was that? Did I miss something? Actually, I know what I missed on a couple of these guys. Good girl. You can sit there and clean, but I can't have you in the middle right now. Will you find cat hairs on my models? Yes. Why? Because they're part of the process. You okay? What little powder? But this is also the first weekend with our son off to college. So we are now empty nesters. We'll see how he does. His classes start tomorrow. I know, it makes you feel old, doesn't it, Aries? Besides me and Jen, you're the only other person here that was around when he was born. Hallie, are you really trying to low crawl sneak your way into this? Little brat. Come on, get it, girl. Good girl. Oh. You know you're a distraction, right? You're not unwelcome, though. You're a distraction, though. I need to find a picture of the, excuse me. The sensors raised up on the, thing. There it is. Okay. Looks like the lower ones actually have a purple polarized cover over them. Actually, I know what I can do. Might have to make it a bit larger. But we're gonna give our Fennek her name. That, and I'm just having a lot of shiny object moments right now. I'm getting distracted. Tired. Should have done this before I started all the weathering. See if I can even get it to paint properly. I don't know if that's small enough. No. I won't be able to do it small enough. Damn it. At least not with that brush. Maybe with this one. And it's only going to be an approximation, but it'll be there. Come on. One more. There we go. That is the actual name of a Fennek in ISAF service. There. Now I've done that, I feel better. Kind of. You're really just gonna go to sleep midstream on me. Tickle, 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 tickle. Oh, she sleeps plenty. I should know. I have to rearrange my entire body at night to accommodate her ass when she's sleeping. And she kicks in her sleep. Mittens snores loud enough he actually woke me up from a dead sleep one night. Thought it was Jen snoring. I gotta turn off the heater. Sorry, Arnie. I know in your old age it keeps you nice and warm, but I gotta turn it off. Yeah, I don't know why today she feels like being center of attention. Normally she's content to just go into her donut and pass out. No, I think she just wants to be around me. She is a daddy's girl. Yeah. And she is purring. Hi. What's funny, it's not very apparent from the angle you're at now. She's actually got a face with... They're not as extreme. You know, they're not as strong. But she's got the same deformities that Grumpy Cat had. They're not as exaggerated, but she's got that same face. What? What was that? Don't look at me. I got my resin this morning, so nothing's coming today. If anyone rang the doorbell, it's not for me. Yeah, we'll get the base camo colors on these guys today, I think, and then I'll let them dry. I'm trying to remember what that brown was called. I've got some other gear in that same color. So at least I can match to it. What? You keep popping up and looking over there. You're making me paranoid, cat. Oh, we did watch Alien Earth Episode 3. If you haven't watched it, get caught up so we can talk about it. You haven't watched it yet, have you, Aries? Well, what are you doing watching me? I'm kidding. I was only being sarcastic. Please don't go. I'll be lonely. I'll have only my cat to talk to. And as you can tell, she's not a great conversationalist. I know. Like right now, she's telling me she likes my company. And that's why she's here. I have to give this guy a new cigarette. It broke off. Alright, let's see if I have a good enough color for the web gear. That's too dark. Sorry if today's stream's been a bit inconsistent too. It's just been a hell of a week for me. I think this'll do. We'll try wood and see what that does. Got wood? You okay, girl? This might be a bit bright to start with, but I think it'll be the right tone to go with. Yeah, I can add some umber wash to it and go back and highlight it. I could have sworn I had another color that would have worked better for this. Because this is too dark. Durr. That's more like it. I want to say the color that I'm trying to replicate is Coyote. I think that's what it was called. Or that's what the popular operator name for it was. What I can't stand is I've got all this useless information stuck in my head somewhere. Okay, so two of these crew have G36 mag pouches on their vests. I almost just want to have the crew on the vehicle on the display base, to be honest. And I'd rather have the G36s that came with them on the vehicle. And just kind of write off this guy and the other one. that'll have to work for now. I'll figure out more later. I think MP7s would suit them better as a vehicle crew weapon. I just don't know if they were in enough supply at the time. I know the English police in London are using them. Yeah, I think just the 3 figures will be fine. 5 trying to get a base setup that would be more conducted to a story. Nah. It's just me moving around, Allie. You okay? Big sigh. Yeah, it looked like whatever just woke her up wasn't me. Sorry, didn't mean to bump your nose. Yeah, I didn't mean to bump your nose, girl. She loves ear rubs right here. Oh, stretch, yeah. What are we doing? What are we doing? We are not doing that. No, no. Nope, nope. You're gonna start causing the camera to glitch out, girl. Your fur pattern does that for some reason. Yeah, so I think she's trying to say right now that I need to give her all the attention and not my little plastic soldier dudes. Can you give me 5 minutes, girl? Huh? I also need to do some research and see what color their berets are, because most of the guys I've seen are just wearing either the standard issue hats or armored vehicle crew helmets. Oh, that was close. What do you see? There's nothing over there. What do you see? She's being very weird. But with this, I think we've reached a stopping point. When I was handling this a bit too much, I was starting to wear off stuff on the tires. I think I want to give this an extra day to dry. We'll do a little bit of a short on it today on YouTube. And then tomorrow, depending on how today's printing efforts go, because this one should be done pretty soon. It was only an 8-hour print. I started at 8 in the morning. So, yeah. The next one should be done by the time I wake up. Definitely before I stream again. So we'll have a little surprise on the stream tomorrow. Can't tell you what it is, but I think you'll like it. Hope you like it. But thanks again to Aries for resubbing on Kick. Thanks to Alex for his generous donations. They will be going toward the savings fund for future project. Thank you, Davos. Yeah. So yeah, keep an eye on YouTube for a short that shows this more all around and in better lighting and clearer focus. Yep. I'm just trying to balance out my day. Next stream after tomorrow, I don't know when that'll be. Schedule's not out yet. Hoping either Sunday or Monday. I'll let you know when I know. Do my best to get on earlier in the evening later this week if I can. Depends on if I have to spend more time. Yeah, I'm not looking to raid anybody right now, Davos. It's because I got 3 different streams going on Kick, YouTube, and Twitch at the same time. But yeah, so I'll try and be on tomorrow afternoon.